Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Alpha Life here. We are finally finishing around with our Kaldari side of the series, moving on to a very nice episode that I always enjoy doing, the level 3 missions episode. So for this one, as you can see, we are going to be using the Magnificent Drake, definitely a staple for Kaldari characters. And we are really going to be enjoying this one. So let's take a good look at our feet and how we are actually going to be flying this one, because you might have already seen it's missile-based ship. Let's clean it up first. Take a good look at the fitting, starting up with the Kaldari Battlecruiser bonuses. Of course, we're gonna be starting, well, first per skill level. We are going to have a 4% bonus to all shield resistances, which is going to be really nice, getting that EHP really high. Next, we're going to have a 10% bonus to kinetic heavy missile and heavy assault missile damage. That is also going to be absolutely great, meaning that we are going to do a lot more damage to the Mortu rats and to the Serpentis rats when we come across them. Of course, as you know, with these level 3 missions, we're going to be running against several different faction ships, and those will have different resistances, so the best ones are going to be against kinetic. Also, we get some command burst bonuses, but we don't care about those, and a 25% bonus to missile velocity, meaning our missiles will be able to reach our targets a little bit further and a little bit faster. So let's take a good look at the fitting itself. Let me just put this over here. And as you might be able to see, we have a steep price considering that the rest of the ships on this series have been a lot cheaper, but I really think it is absolutely worth it. Of course, you could also try to find other options for running these level 3s. This Drake is the one I would recommend, mainly because, well, the Ferox is a hybrid turret based ship, meaning it will mainly only do kinetic and thermal damage efficiently, and you will be getting some good missions with rogue drones, so you will not be making as much damage and you will be wasting a little bit more ammunition. And also with the Naga, exact same story, plus training into those large hybrid turrets. It does take a little bit longer for the training time, and because we already have the medium ones, thanks to the Moa and the Caracal normal cruisers, we really get the best bang for our buck with the Drake, I believe, and also because it can actually change the damage types that it makes thanks to running on missiles. So what are we going to be having? We're going to be having 6 advanced Limos Heavy Missile Bay ones. Why these ones? Well, as you can see, they are not the best, they are not the second best, but they are the third best, meaning they are a lot cheaper than the other two options, and that is going to be really great. Sure, we're going to do a little bit less damage, but honestly, we do more than enough for the missions that we're going to be running with this one. Next, let's move on to the low slots. To the mid slots, where we're going to be having a 50-man cold gas enduring Microwarpdrive to help us move a lot faster. As you may imagine, the Drake and all battle cruisers are really slow, so having that Microwarpdrive to move around in between rooms for the missions a lot faster is really appreciated. We're gonna move on to a medium shield extender Tech 2, a medium compact PV acid cap battery, a multispectrum shield extender Tech 2, another medium compact PV acid cap battery, and a medium shield booster Tech 2. Of course, we are not cap stable with everything running, but we're going to check that cap stability in a moment when we simulate the ship. Also for the low slots, just 4 ballistics control systems too. As you can see, it's somewhat of a tight fit, but as you know, my character is not perfectly skilled even for an alpha, so you can definitely get it a little bit easier. And then for the rigs, we're gonna move to 3 medium capacitor control circuit ones. Why? Because they are cheap and they are going to help us again with that cap stability. For the drones, I only have 5 Hornet ones because we can only fit 5 small drones, but because we're going to be changing the damage type in the missiles, I just want to leave those in for every single mission that we're going to be running. Of course, in the cargo hold, we want to have some ammunition and a mobile tractor unit. As you know, I love using these. These are really great, especially for these level 3 missions. So let's take a good look at our simulation and that cap stability I was talking about. Thankfully, missile launchers don't really consume capacitor, so if we turn off the shield booster, we are cap stable, and if we turn on the shield booster and off the microwarpdrive, we are also very cap stable. Of course, you could play around with this fit a little bit. It's definitely a little overkill for the level 3 missions, just like all the other battle cruisers, but that means that it's going to be a really relaxed activity, and that's the main reason why I like running these. Because, well, even after a while of running heavy low sec, being heavily invested on doing certain activities like exploration, spending a lot of time not really getting a lot of stuff, or doing those low sec belt ratting sessions, maybe you just got taken out and you just want to make somewhat of a normal activity that's not going to take you a lot of time to do and still get you some good results, and maybe you don't necessarily want to run abyssals. Well, this is what I believe the best option to just chill out after a long day at work. So let's take a good look at who we're going to be running this for, because funny enough, I was running missions for one corporation and I did the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc, and it got me my another corporation fairly high. So I was doing these missions for the corporate police force, but as you can see, I am not at level 3 with the corporate police force. However, after doing the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc, my Caldari state status absolutely went up. And that means that my Caldari Navy status, Caldari Navy, here it is, 4.21. Of course, I have run 2 missions, but this is absolutely great. This is thanks to that Sisters of Eve Epic Arc. So I really do recommend you run those if you want to get a little bit quicker and a little bit easier into the level 3 missions. Let's take another look at why we are running these missions. Well, we are running them mainly for the loyalty points. Of course, you will get a lot more loyalty points if you're running faction warfare. However, level 3 missions is good enough for me because I mainly use it to de-stress out of a long day at work. So we're going to get some really good implants like this Lancer implant for rate of fire bonus. Of course, these are 1%, but they go all the way down to 3%, I believe. And they are really helpful, especially the chirurgical strike, the gunslinger ones for gun fits, or even some shield management, shield missions, shield systems, or even for some CPU or power grid. So they will give you more CPU or more power grid, as you can see, all the way to 3%, to 5%, but I believe this one is only for Omega. Yeah, the 5% are only for Omega. However, as an alpha, you can still use the 3%, and they are really useful for those slightly higher end fits. I really would recommend them, and because you will be doing these level 3 missions, they will be a lot cheaper. Next up, what can we get? Well, we can get some of these other implants that are made to help you with your training if you eventually hope to become Omega at some point, or you want to Plex at some point. This will actually help you train those skill points a lot faster, train those skills faster, and get more skill points per time. Also, we get these specialization books to be able to use the Tech 2 weapons. For example, this light missile specialization for light missile launcher 2s, making all of that endeavor a lot cheaper. We also get some Caldari Navy ammunition, some hybrid ammunition, which is really great. But the main reason I believe to run Caldari Navy missions is the Caldari Navy rockets and missiles. They are absolutely the best, I believe, because it's not exactly cheap ammo. It's quite expensive, actually. So whether if you want to sell it or use it yourself, I really do recommend it. So yeah. Also, you can get some more. Ooh, look at these torpedoes. Torpedoes are really nice, and well, they might seem expensive here, but they are more expensive to be bought, so they are a great thing to sell. Also, cruise missile specialization, torpedo specialization, all the gist of it. So we go down a little bit more, and we will be finding some blueprint copies. Of course, with these ones, you need to have some tags that we will not be getting in the missions. I think you get them through faction warfare and through some very specific missions, but you will get very strong standing losses from those missions. So I don't recommend you try and get these ones. However, the ones that are absolutely worth getting, for example, the skill box security connections. Let's see the market details. And well, a lot of people are selling them pretty close. However, if you go over to Jira, you might actually be able to sell them for a pretty penny. Now let's go down and something like this, for example, the Caldari Navy Hook Bill, I think is a great investment of your loyalty points and a little bit of ISK. You will find out that getting those 10 million ISK back is really, really fast and really, really easy. Of course, I have realized throughout doing this series that the Nexus chips you actually get from running mining missions for mining agents, so that is also another good possibility. However, the LP count that you need is the same, and I am not sure that it's worth it doing the mining missions. But as you can see, you can also get some blueprint copies, some full ships, and it's really, really nice. I do it mainly for the ammunition and for the materials that you will be getting. But yeah, it's definitely something nice to do, especially if you're stressed out. It can really be nice to just de-stress. So let's take a good look at how we're going to be running our level 3 missions. Let's go into the agency. If it loads, yes, agents and missions, mission agents, security agents, and here we are. How are we going to be looking for someone we want to do missions if you haven't done the epic arc or you're not, or you want to select a particular place? I like this station because it has two people for two agents for the same corporation running at the same station, which means you can actually do something that I really, really enjoy, which will be talking to one, accepting one mission, and then talking to the other and accepting the other mission. It's really, really nice, and it really saves you up a lot of time. So let's request a mission here. Ooh, rogue drone harassment. So yeah, we definitely want any rogue drones or mortal missions. They are not gonna give us standing loss, so we don't need to search for them in the EVE University page, which I will leave a link in the description down below. Please do look for it. And success comes at a price. I believe this one will be for a pirate faction, for the Guristas pirate faction because of the logo over here. However, let's go really quickly to the EVE University page, paste it at the search bar, and go to the page. I will paste an image here in front of the screen. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow today, but yeah, success comes at a price, and it will tell you the level of the mission, the type of mission, the objective, the faction you will be fighting, best damage to deal, best damage to resist, what rewards you will be getting, the standings loss that you might be getting, and who you have to kill and how many enemies will be in front of you. So I'm gonna take a really quick screenshot of that just to have it around to pop into the video. Let's save it up real quick because I do not save up all my screenshots, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I would have way too many. So let's accept it. Now, let's see, we're going to be running against Guristas and against rogue drones, but I only have Mjolnir ammunition in the cargo bay, so I'm going to put 1000 Mjolnir and 2000 Scourge. Hopefully we won't need any more of that, and this ammunition is really, really big, so we don't really need to take quite so much. Also, these missiles, because they are bigger missiles, they are not going to apply quite as well to frigates. So if you're going to be facing off against some frigates, I would actually recommend you use the drones for the frigates alone. So let's go ahead and warp over there. What else? Well, eventually there might happen the case, especially in this Caldari space, because it's so full of people, you might eventually encounter griefers. Griefers are gonna be people that are gonna scan down your ship or your MTU, and they are going to warp to your site and try to make you engage them. They are either going to shoot your MTU or start doing something to have you aggress them, or they are going to start killing off your rats or something like that, maybe even looting them. So I would recommend you go, well, don't get far away from from your MTU first of all, and be ready for that because it might happen. What I like doing to be ready for those situations is keeping the local tab open. If anyone goes suspect, I can see it, and to keep the directional scanner open, and eventually, not as much as in low sec, but every once in a while hunt down for those combat pros because they will be the only way for someone to get into your sights. So do take that under consideration, and if anyone enters your site, just go back to try and pick up your MTU and try to get out of there as fast as you can because, well, they are mainly only going to try to annoy you, trying to get you to aggress them and eventually get out a bigger ship and try to kill you. So even if you know you can take them down, just don't. It's not going to be worth it. You know, this is an expensive ship and they will most of the times have another ship ready to take your first ship down. Ooh, we are at the Charistas mission first, so let's do that. Let's start up our shield hardener. Let's start locking everybody up. And let's drop the MTU. And as always, let's save the location for the MTU. Let's save it as a number 1, and I'm going to put it in the missions folder to expire in 3 hours. Why in 3 hours? Well, because in 3 hours I believe the Rex will despawn basically. So that's why I usually like to have it for 3 hours and not a lot more. So as you can see, this is going to be really nice and really easy. We are staying close to the MTU, we're not taking a whole lot of damage, and we have very good range, up to 59 kilometers. So we are absolutely safe from the rats, we can absolutely apply damage to them. I'm gonna launch my drones to try and do this a little bit faster and do a little bit more damage to them. I'm gonna send them to the rogue agent to see if they can actually kill it a little bit faster. And I'm going to send the drones to that one. He's almost dead, so they shouldn't take too long to kill it. There he goes, and as you can see, we are absolutely doing a good amount of damage and not really having any problems whatsoever. So let's continue this, and as you can see, it's a fairly relaxing activity. You just need to be careful sometimes for those combat scanner probes on your D-scan because, well, you don't want anyone to ruin your calm time. So yeah, let's get our drones back inside. We don't need to take those missile batteries down. Let's take a good look at the Rex, see if let's get our MTU back inside and quickly go run the next one. I'm not even going to cut the video here just so that you guys give yourselves an idea of how fast this process actually is. And I'm already going to be changing my missile type because we're going to be going for the rogue drones. So as soon as I warp back into our system, I'm going to see if this tag over here says dock. If it says dock, I'm gonna go for the next mission straight away, and it just saves us a little bit of time between dock ops and in between traveling. You know, both missions we got on different systems, so we don't save that much time, but we do save enough for the docking and undocking, and that's why I really would recommend you try to get a corporation to run missions for that they have 2 people for level 3s at the same station. That's going to be the best. A lot of people also like, as you can see, dock, so let's move to rogue drones. Jump through Stargate. But yeah, as you might have seen sometime, well, a lot of people like running missions for the Sisters of Eve corporation itself. I would recommend it. You know, you can get the Sisters scanner probes and the combat scanner probes and all of that. So it's a really good source of income. I really do recommend it. But since I want the Caldari Navy ammunition mainly for the missiles, well, that's why I do it for this. But you can pretty much do it for them also. Of course, you will also have to start with level 1s and level 2s. Maybe after the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc, you might be able to go straight to the level 2s, but you're definitely going to have to run some missions in order to get to those level 3s, which, well, it's not that bad. I really do recommend it quite a lot. So let's move on to our next mission quite as fast as we can. Let's warp to location. And yeah, I might speed up some parts of the video, but other than that, you are seeing me in real time, just moving from one mission to the next, so that you guys can see that it's really, really quick just running these missions. And of course, as with the usual other series, I'm going to do a few more missions, run a few more missions, and then get out with our Salvaging Destroyer, which is also a very big part of running these level 3 missions. Of course, it doesn't pay a ton, but I think it pays enough to actually do. And since you can use the salvage from the wrecks to actually manufacture rigs, I think it's absolutely worth it, especially if you run a lot of ships with Tech 1 rigs. I mean, that's a match made in heaven. Absolutely. You can run your level 3 missions during the week to get some materials and make your ships maybe to just go into low sec and throw them around and have some fun with them. And yeah, I think it's really, really nice. So I'm going to speed this part up a little bit just because there are so many of them. And I want you guys to mainly look at the strategy that I'm going to be using more than how I'm actually running it. Now, you know what I mean. Yeah, let's move on to that. So now that we are done with everyone in this room, let's move on to the next one. Of course, just a quick reload, but as you can see, we have absolutely no problems, no hiccups, no issues, nothing at all. Just running our mission, having fun, relaxing a little bit, and yeah, it's fairly simple. Let's move on to the next ones. Let's drop down the MTU, and again, I'm going to speed this part up a little bit, just because, well, it might take a little bit of time. And there we go. Both our missions finished. Let's quickly go ahead, speed this part up, and get back to our station to deliver our two missions. As you may be able to see, we haven't even taken anything into our cargo hold, just because the loot we got from the first mission I didn't think was worth getting right now. We can get it with the destroyer, but let's see what can we get by running. I think I'm going to run some 6 to 8 missions like with the other series. So yeah, I'll see you guys over at this station. So we have just delivered both of our last missions. As you can see, we have around 9 pockets that we need to go out there and salvage, and for that we are going to be using this great cormorant, which I really like. As you can see, this one has been and will be the cheapest salvaging destroyer that we are going to be using for this series. And well, it pretty much has absolutely nothing except for the salvagers themselves and a microwarpdrive. So let's see how will we do, because I think it's going to have some capacitor problems, so it'll take a little bit longer to actually salvage, but let's see how well it actually does. As you can see, it's just a cormorant, a normal cormorant, with 8 salvagers and one 5mm YT8 compact microwarpdrive. Why the compact one? It was the one that I had in stock. You can go for the enduring one and it will, well, consume a little bit less capacitor. Let's see, if we turn it off, we are still not cap stable, so we need to watch out for the salvagers consuming all of our capacitor extremely fast. So, okay, we have 3 on the system. So let's go ahead and do this salvaging as fast as possible. As you may remember, you just need to get within 5,000 meters of each one of them, salvage them as fast as possible, and move on out. I'm not going to cut the video so that you can see a little bit of the process, but I am going to speed it up and you guys won't have to see the entire thing. So I will get on it. So as you can see, it's a fairly fast process, but our capacitor is going to be having some trouble. As you saw over there, just activating all its salvagers at the same time can be a little bit taxing for the capacitor, so we need to be careful with that just a little bit. However, I'm going to continue salvaging the rest of these sites, all 9 of them, and get back to you guys in the station once I'm finished with that. So we are finally done with our salvaging session, and let's take a good look at our cargo hold to see what did we get. And fortunately we did quite a good haul this time, mainly components. We didn't get that much loot. And enduring microwarpdrive, that's actually a very nice change. And yeah, definitely worth it. I am very happy with this haul. So let's get everything into the item hangar, and as you can see, this is definitely a system worth doing. Of course, I'm going to leave in the description below the links for both If Tycoon, for the 1 million skill points referral link, for both of these feats, of course, and for If University. I very much recommend you use that site, especially if you don't want to run missions that are going to lose you standings with some of the other empires or with someone in particular. So yeah, I really would recommend that resource very much, and it can help you actually select what kind of missiles you're going to be taking, because these missiles take a lot of space. Just look at that. That's only 1,000 missiles, and that's a lot of space. So yeah, I really would recommend it. And as you guys know, we are coming into the finish of our Caldari side of the series. I'm going to be looking forward to making other different videos outside the series of any recommendations you guys may have. Please do let me know in the comments below, since I'm not sure where to take this content from here on out. This was mainly what I wanted to do when I began the project, so I would really appreciate if you guys would like me to try anything, any ships, any feats at all. As long as they are alpha or within the budget, I am more than happy to try them. So yeah, everyone, thank you also very much for watching. If you have been enjoying this content that I have been making, please consider giving me a like, maybe even a subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Thank you also very much for watching. This has been the Alpha Life, and I will see you all in the next one.